All right, so we've covered the phases of the market. We've talked about candles. We've talked about time frames. We've talked about looking at the charts. We've talked about technical analysis as being the primary tool that you have to attack the market. Now, obviously, in this course, I can't go into advanced application. I can't really talk about all the necessary things that you need in order for you to be able to attack these charts with consistency. But I'm trying to give you a course of action, okay? For most of you, the problem is going to be that you don't even know where to begin. So I'm trying to give you somewhere to begin. So let's talk about some of the things that you can do to help you out. We spoke about the phases, and the reason I had to do that first is because if you don't understand that the market trends, retraces, consolidates, and breaks out, then you have no hope in understanding any strategy that you may Google or talk or you may read in a book or anything like that. It's just going to be words. So let's talk about some of the basic things that you can do or look for in order for you to be able to attack this market. Now, again, I'm not promising results. Let me treat you like I would treat a one-on-one student, a beginner student. Your goal in the beginning is not to win. It's not to make money. I'm sorry. If you think that you're going to come into this game and start killing it, you're in La La Land. You're in Disney World right now. You got to remember that people pay thousands. I'm talking about tens of 20, 30, 40, 50,000 to get taught by top tier traders in like university settings, in these huge meetings. Like, I remember when I started, I reached out to people and they were offering me like $15,000 for a watch list, a template, and a quick couple of hour sessions. Those were the prices that get thrown around out in this realm. There's also platforms out there that charge, monthlies. You start for like $1,000 or whatever, and you get charged like a $500 monthly. Then there's platforms like mine that we try to gear towards regular people who need help. Okay, and we charge a monthly, we charge an upfront fee. There's tons of free resources. My one-on-one coaching is up there as far as premium price. Let me make this clear to you. There's a reason why people charge. Okay, there's a reason why people like me get paid for the things that we do, because this requires experience. And I've said this in every single video on purpose. The separator is experience, and what you're doing by paying somebody is you're cutting your time by something. I don't know how much. Let's say it was supposed to take you 5 years. It may only take you 3. If it was supposed to take you 2, it may only take you 1. If it was supposed to take only 6 months, it may only take 3. But you get the point. By you paying somebody, you're cutting that learning curve. They're helping you focus things down. That's what I'm doing for you right now for free. So, or when I finally start charging for this course, because at some point I will charge for this. If the course right now is getting pretty good, and I still want some more things that I want to add in here, and if it gets good enough, whoever's in here stays in here, and whoever didn't listen in the beginning, was unlucky and didn't find me early, they're going to be charged. It won't be a lot, but there will be a paywall for this course, so you're lucky right now if you're watching this. Basically, as far as an approach, here are the 4 things that I think that you should stick to. And obviously, I got this off of Google. I think it was. No, someone sent this one to me. They sent it from Instagram. And they asked me what it was. Okay, so these are 4 solid. I like this little graph here to explain what you should do. Now, we're not talking about moving averages. We're not talking about EMAs, right? We're not talking about trend lines like that. Not a lot. We're going to cover some of that here. But a pullback trading strategy, basically embracing the market coming back to a price where the market has been, or a trend line or an EMA. You can look that up, and when the market gets there, you buy it. Okay, now it sounds really simplistic, but you really need to know how to use those moving averages. You need to know on what frame you're working on. I'm not going to cover that here because that is way past what we need to talk about. And honestly, I don't really use EMAs like that anymore. I used to teach with them. I don't do that anymore. I teach something else. I teach the same thing in a different way now. It's just easier for people to understand. Okay, you could use a trend line because moving averages are very similar to trend lines. It's basically the same thing, except they're not dynamic. EMAs, moving averages move. Trend lines, wherever you draw them, that's it. What is a trend line? This is a trend line. Remember the lines that I was drawing on the previous video? That is a trend line. Okay, that is when you have multiple touches of price aka those candles touching a line that you drew, and you're watching a pattern form, an ascending pattern, right, where the market is going up, or a descending pattern where the market is going down. A breakout trading strategy would be you're allowing that market to break that pattern and give you that continuation phase. Remember that? Support and resistance. That is the next one, where you're waiting for the market to hit a support to buy it, or you're waiting for the market to hit a resistance to sell it. Or range trading. You wait for the market to create a consolidation on a frame that you choose, and you buy from the lows and you sell from the highs. Okay? And we spoke about that a little bit before. Let's go further. Something else you need to remember. Price always repeats itself. This is important. An easy strategy for you to approach is this, okay? You allow that market to, once again, this is support and resistance. You allow that market to come back to where it originally was, and you aim for a price and you buy it. That is going to teach you timing. You let that market repeat the same action that it caused before. You set your entry, you set your stop loss, you set your take profit, and you leave it alone. An easy way to begin. All right, you could do that on the selling side. You can do that on the buying side. What I like about this little graph, price always repeats itself. You must exercise the patience. You don't need to trade every day. Very true. You just need a couple of good trades a week. The more active you are, the more likely you are to run into a loss. So you can see it here. An easy situation. Now, these are perfect world scenarios. This is what I hate about most free stuff. They give you or even paid courses. The problem with most educational platforms, especially for people who don't know what they're doing, is that they give you a perfect scenario that is going to be impossible for you to see on the chart. They don't teach you to embrace the messy. Did you see how the market was in the previous video? Okay? You see how sloppy some of those markets were? Now, the way that I teach is I tell people, look, embrace the sloppiness. Let the market close. Let the market really prove it to you. Learn the difference between a guess and a trade. So these are some easy concepts you can learn. Let's make believe this was a line of support or resistance. The market was supporting off a certain price. The market breaks out of that price. The market turns that old price into a high. So it was once a buyer price. It becomes a high or a seller price, which turns it into a strong sell. That's a breakout strategy. Price breaks support but cannot break it as resistance. So that is a breakout sell, okay? That is something that you can try to do. Here on this trend line, this is another breakout strategy. You have an ascending trend, right? The market is going up. The market breaks that trend line, retests that trend line, and there's your sell. On the opposite side, the market is channeling, price breaks trend line and carries on in bullish direction. So it's channeling, okay? Breaks the channel, retest that channel, continuation. Same thing here. The market is channeling downwards. You allow that market to break that channel, retest that channel, continuation. Now, the hard part for me right now is to not get too deep into this because I'll be giving away the stuff that people pay me for. And I told you this from the beginning. I'm going to do some of this. I'm going to try to break it down best I can, and I'm going to try to kind of rein myself back because it's hard for me to stop myself from saying what I know and also overwhelming you with shit that you won't understand right now. So let's go to the next one. I want to break down some of the different strategies that you can Google if you want, look into if you want. Not all this stuff is what I use. Some stuff I really don't believe in. Harmonic patterns and Elliott waves. Now, I'll be clear. Just because I don't use something doesn't mean I don't know about it. I know pretty much every single popular strategy. I've read every book, all the major webinars, all the major anything that you can pretty much get your hands on. I've looked at it. I'm self-taught, so I had to. When I decided to not use something, it's not because it's ineffective. It's because it wasn't for me. It didn't make sense to me as far as how much patience was necessary or the way it was approached, or like maybe I felt it was a little flimsy, so I don't use it. So as I go through these, this is a good little graph here. As I go through these, I'm going to break down what I like and what I don't like, okay? So harmonic patterns, I don't like them. Harmonic patterns are basically patterns. You can Google this, you can look it up, you can buy books on this. I mean, this is what we're doing here, right? We're trying to give you approaches for you to learn more about. Harmonic patterns will give you basically the shapes like a bat or a butterfly. And basically it'll teach you to look for these shapes. The problem with it is it's extremely difficult to learn, and sometimes it's a little flimsy, and a lot of the educators out there can get away with saying that's not exactly what the bat looks like, even though it looks like a bat. And that's why you lost. Also, people start to kind of crutch on the pattern, and they don't do the rest of the confirmations, and it gets people in trouble. That's why I don't teach it. It's just, it was never effective. I used it, got a couple of good trades. It just wasn't for me. Elliott waves, the theory of multiple waves before reversals and to continue trends. You can learn that. You can use it. It's the counting of the retracements in the market, basically the legs of the market. I don't really talk about it, but I do use it. All right, I use it in the back of my mind. I know how to do the count, but I don't teach it because, honestly, again, it's about perspective. If somebody says count to 5 legs or count to 5 waves, or this is the second leg or this is the third wave, whatever, and you're trying to learn from them, and they can just simply tell you, well, this is not the wave, this is the wave, and that's not the wave, this is the wave. It's just hard for a beginner to kind of grasp these concepts, so it kind of stunts growth, and it doesn't get anyone anywhere. It's a good advanced concept to learn if you want to take your trading for yourself. I personally wouldn't look for education on that. I would just buy education. I would use the free stuff that's out there. It's more than enough. A flag. This is something I do use when the market is channeling down. If it's channeling down and it breaks out, what do we know? Trend, correction, breakout, right? It's going to continue that. Just in case, I think I might have missed this on the last video. I spoke about it, but I didn't say it. So I spoke about all these phases in the last video, but I forgot to say this one. I spoke about it, but I didn't read it out. The buyers and the sellers are in equilibrium during a sideways phase, a consolidation, right? So the market is stuck at certain prices. If the strength ratio between the buyers and the sellers changes, a breakout occurs from such a sideways phase. The price then starts a new trend, okay? Breakouts are therefore a link between consolidations and new trends. I said it. I showed it to you. I know I did, but I didn't read it out, so I just want to... It's important here because these are all breakout strategies, what you see in front of you. That market is holding a price. It breaks it out, meaning that this market had a whole lot of buyer power here, right? Or buyers, or you had 10 buyers, okay? The market breaks that, and then these buyers can become sellers, and the people who wanted to sell in the first place, they sell. That causes a breakout. That's that shift in power that they're talking about. Same thing here. This market is bullish, right? Buyer heavy, and then it becomes seller heavy. Same thing here. How do we define this, though, on the charts? I'm going to show you that in a second. Just be patient. So we go back to what we were doing. The flag, right? The market is channeling down. It's bearish. Once it becomes more overwhelmingly bullish, you get a strong trend. Same thing in the triangle. It's holding a consolidation, right? It's squeezing up. Bang. That's what you get. This is a descending trend line. The market is obviously creating lower highs. All right. This is an ascending trend line. The market is creating higher lows and higher highs. Remember that, right? Descending, lower highs, lower low. Ascending, or an uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. Okay? Support and resistance. This is a good little chart. I like this chart. Support and resistance. The market is showing buyer strength from a specific price. Resistance. The market is showing seller strength from a specific price. What else do I use heavily? Well, so far I got flags, triangles, descending trend line, support, resistance, ascending trend line, descending trend line, Fibonacci's. That's the other thing that I use a lot. Fibonacci's. Not going to teach you that here. That is definitely one of the last things you should learn. That is my advice to you. If you want to learn that, got to join the group. You got to see that apply day in and day out, month in and month out, because someone is just going to literally tell you, hey, from the high to the low, draw that. If they tell you that and they don't explain it further, run, because they don't know what the fuck they are talking about. Okay? Long orders, short orders. Sometimes you see this on people's screenshots. This is just them saying, here's where the market is in loss mode, stop area. This is where they really want to go, the green, right? So they'll draw that on their charts to show you where they're looking for profits, where they're looking for entry, and where their stop loss ends, okay? And that's what that is, and hopefully that helps. So Right now, this video, this is out of today's series of videos that I am sending out. This will be the last one, and then there'll be more next week. Okay, more added to this series. I don't know exactly how that's going to play. I don't know exactly what I want to put out there. So I might give it a week, week and a half, maybe. Not sure. I want to see what your feedback is. I want you to do this. Okay, so if you're watching this right now in the early stages of the release of this series, there is no more videos after this video. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more here, and then I'm going to cut the video. What I want you to do is go experiment. Go try some stuff, right? Go try to work the market. By now, you should have a broker. You should be trying to do some things, buy, sell. You should be seeing how those numbers move, how the price moves, trying to figure out how to kind of get your bearings here. With these videos, you should try to take some buys off support, off resistance. See if you can try some markups. Perfection is not the concern here. What I want you to do, if you're watching this series in the early stages, is shoot me questions. Send me questions. Find me on Instagram and send me questions from your experiences with the buying and selling. If it's past my scope of what I can do for you because you're really asking for real training here, like deep training and application, then I'll tell you that. If it's something that I see is consistent and maybe I forgot to speak on it, or I think it's more than fair, then I will talk about it. This specific video is just going to be about some things that you can do to attack these charts. Here's the other thing that I'm going to say to you before you send me anything else, okay, any questions. Let me tell you why this video, I don't even have to make it that long. Okay, so what you can do simply is come to my YouTube channel. Once you watch these initial 3 videos for this part of the series, what you need to do is you need to come to my YouTube channel. Gustavo Zapz, easy to find me. Look for this face, looking for this ugly mug, find me. I've been giving out free content for a long time. This content is not flimsy content, and so yes, some videos are better than others. For example, there's little things here that you can learn how to do as well. How to set a price alert, think about the markets this way to avoid headaches. I would watch this hour-long video. You got a lot of real market applied training there. Obviously, what I'm doing there is talking to you about my group. That's obvious. But what I did was, since I need something from you, which is the interest of subscribing to my group and growing my platform, I also gave you something. That's what I've been doing this way for years. So my understanding of it is, if I can show you the effectiveness of my group through testimonials and real trades that we have applied, trades, ideas that I have given out, what I call non-signals, I can teach you through that by showing you a couple of quick things, giving you some free info, and we go from there. So you could see all these videos. Now you're going to ask me which ones. Listen, if you haven't figured it out by now, I'm one of those straightforward people that doesn't give a fuck how people feel, because that's how I like to be treated. Tell me the fucking truth. You don't like something? Say it. You like something? Tell me. My feelings won't get hurt because I don't give a fuck. So that's how I treat everybody else. I don't really care if people get offended, whatever. If you think it's too much work for you to go through this, then fuck off, because I'm giving you free information. You're getting free education, right? Anybody else you know what they would do? I'll tell you what they would do. They would take this, put it behind a paywall, and with the other videos, and charge you about $500 to $600 for this course. If you think I'm lying, ask around. Ask around what people get for $500, $600 on learn to trade Forex platforms. They get bullshit. That's what they get. Everything that I've given you for free, that's what they get. So do yourself a favor and look around. But let me help you out real quick. What to ask yourself on every Forex trade. Definitely watch that. It's a small video. Simple FX strategy for higher probability. Definitely watch that. It's a small video. Higher or lower frames. Which one do I use? Definitely watch that. Think about the market this way to avoid headaches. You get the drift here? All these trades are winning trades. Right? Big moments in the market, and they get bigger. There's also some testimonials, right? Some stuff that talks about my group. You don't necessarily have to watch this. $9,500 made by a member of the Pipsology FX group. That's a testimonial. Struggling with your trading. Focus on that. I would definitely watch that one, right? Look at the damn titles, man. Gold and Euro NZD 100 pips entry with simple trading. I'm talking about trading there. Free Forex tips. Right? Euro NZD 550 plus pips in 24 hours. There's definitely some stuff there. Increase your accuracy. All this stuff is real trading applied knowledge. Do yourself a favor and go check it out. It is hours of material there. In combination with what the hell you got in this group right now and whatever I decide to release after this, it will be a great starting point for any trader. Let's check out one of the videos. Gold, 7 minutes in heaven. I don't know why the hell I named it that.
What's the breakout?
That's an old game we used to play when I think junior high school or something, when you would make out in the closet with the spin the bottle or whatever.
This was one support where we were actually buying from
So here I'm showing you a active trade in Pipsology FX where we bought the market once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, right? So I'm basically ripping apart gold using support and resistance, and that's what I'm talking to you about. Let's check out some of the comments. Maybe the video is shit. Literally the realest FX coach and mentor in the game. Thank you for the insights, consistency, and a match value. That's a group member. Thoroughly enjoyed. Thankful for the annotations on screen as well. Answered a question I was going to ask you in an upcoming session. Okay. Damn. Thanks for the knowledge, bro. What currency pairs do you recommend for beginners? Great video, bro. Been following you on IG for a while. Always putting quality out, quality content. I subscribe. Okay. So you got it. All right. You got it. There you go. And if you ever want to find me, you can hit the links right there in the comments. I got a good amount of videos on there, and I'm not just talking shit on there. I'm giving you real trades applied, and I'm trying to keep it as simple as possible. If you notice, this is like what we do. So go do yourself a favor and watch that stuff, okay? As far as strategy and technical analysis, there isn't anything that I can give you without showing it to you consistently. See, most trading education platforms, like I said before, they feed you these perfect scenarios. Does this look perfect to you? Right? Do these look perfect? No, it looks sloppy. It's not perfect lines. It's not perfect points meeting with each other. You need to learn to apply that. You need to learn to allow that to seep into your brain through a lot of time. Okay? And that is why I'm giving you this stuff. I'm giving you this stuff so you can see it. It's free. Go watch it. Okay? That YouTube channel is free. Go watch it. Subscribe and watch. It's critical and not enough people teach. So I definitely wanted to get that out there. Like I said, all of these videos, if you see trades that I'm talking about, it's because I'm going to be teaching through breaking it down.
Right. So, you guys know why you're here. You're here. There was this moment where spent the time to do the analysis.
So right there, what I'm doing is I am breaking down a trade from the group. So that was somewhere in August 2019 where we took a trade on gold. I mean, look, even if I go to my group right now, you're going to see here, right? This week on gold, 1,000 pips, USD 300 pips, 60 pips, GJ 300 pips, right? And this is what we do, right? Breakdowns and conversation, updates, right? Winning trades, updates, even some losing trades. So that is what we do in the group. As far as the chart. Okay, so what did we discuss? We discussed a pullback strategy, right? That's an attempt. You take a trend line, you find 3 points. You're just practicing right now. When that market hits that trend line, you try to find some way to get into that, whether it's obvious support. Let's say maybe you find resistance that you really like and trust. It forms, you take that sell. Questions like how many candles and all that, I get it, but we're not going to throw all that at you right now. And you need to get advanced education. You need to think right now more in terms of, I just need to experience things. I need to try them. If you were taught how to drive a car, this is what you do. A, B, C, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then you got to take your test. No. You gotta mess up, right? You gotta hit that pedal. Your car goes a little too fast. It goes a little too slow. You hit the brake. It jerks the whole car. You almost run an old lady over. All those things you have to go through to learn how to drive. Maybe not the running the old lady over, but you get the point, right? You gotta experience it. Stop trying to get all the information in one shot. Stop trying to digest all that information in one shot. Using support and resistance, right? Resistance, using supports, right? You find little supports in the market. Right, this is what you're going to be looking for: trend lines, breakouts. You may not have the easiest time. You could always go and Google more, right? Or you can listen to me and go watch that YouTube channel Go watch those videos. That's why I don't think that, I believe that I'm going to wait a week or two before I release even more videos. Okay, because I think that with this, plus the YouTube channel, that's a lot to digest. Because really what I want to do next is create a list, right? A list of pitfalls for traders. Something more on the psychology, mental level, like more than just technical, more than just concept, like real things you should be looking out for that aren't necessarily just on the candles alone, okay? Things that I feel that psychologically are traps and would help you. So that's really where I want to go. So focus on the charts for the next couple of weeks after you watch these videos. Really try to understand. Don't be so hard on yourself. If you fail, if you don't mess up, if you lose, remember, people lose in the market all the time, even the ones who know what they're doing. I took a loss this week in the market, but you saw those numbers. The losses don't affect me, right? The goal is to win big, lose small, right? Every once in a while, you're going to lose. Once you learn how to manage money, once you learn how to use some proper risk to reward, once you learn how to quality control your entries, things become a whole lot easier. Last thing I want to say is this before we kill the video completely. Look, here's something that is so hard to explain, and I know is probably running through some of your heads, and I wanted to throw it out there. How do you know when something is supported or how far down something is going to go? Or if you should be worried about the hour chart, or if you should let that market get here, or is it here, or is it down here? Which support, right? Which low am I going to use? Is it this one, or is it this one, right? Or do I just worry about this one here? Or what? Maybe I go to the 15-minute and go here. I answered that already. You have to experience it. You have to see the speed of the market. If I tell you the market only travels 150 pips on average, what the hell does that mean to you? It means absolutely nothing. You have to learn the speed of the market. That is something that is so hard to explain. And I could definitely give you a bullshit definition, but I'm not going to waste my time. When you watch those YouTube videos, you're going to see real market conditions that were lived and executed, okay? And that's going to give you repetition. When you watch the videos in the Telegram channel, when you get higher education, that is going to give you the experience that you need. Right now, no matter what I say, it's still just words. No matter how much I explain it, it's still just words. Nothing is more powerful than you going on the charts, watching all this stuff and trying to do it yourself. Or maybe doing it yourself and then watching it at the same time, right? Just watching the way it moves, being on a 4-hour, okay? And maybe you don't use multi-time frame analysis because we didn't break down technical analysis whole, right? I didn't show you monthly, weekly, daily, H4. I'm not going to do that here. That is advanced, next level, applied day in, day out. Because honestly, I could break it down once. It means nothing. You have to see it applied through a week's time. You have to see an analysis applied over a week, over a month. That is where it's going to really matter to you. So I'm not even going to waste your time with that type of stuff. What I'm trying to do here with these videos is give you a starting point. That's why the group is called Jumpstart, okay? And if you still are confused after watching the videos on my YouTube channel and watching these videos and any videos that I post after this, then let's have that conversation, just me and you, okay? Let's talk about that. But I can almost guarantee you, after dealing with this for many years, that if you watch enough videos and if you try it on your own, you will realize that you start to see that market forming, right? If you let those candles close for you, if you let an Asian session close out, you will have structures to target. Okay, let's say for example, right now it was Asian session, and you really wanted the market to get up here for whatever reason, right? To use this price of 126.4 as an area of resistance, okay? And when the market gets up there, whether you draw a stupid box or a stupid line, you will interact with that chart and take a sell. Let's say you're looking for a wick to form, and once you see that wick form, you sell it, and that's your trading plan. That's the beginning of a trading strategy. It's not a good one, but it's the beginning of one. Or you want the market to come down here, right? And you have this chart, and you also have GJ or GBP USD, the pound versus the dollar, and whatever. You have different prices that you want to attack when the market gets there, and you want to buy from there. That's not the best trading plan, but at least it's a beginning, okay? You want the you don't want to chase whatever's in front of you. You want the market to come to you. Or let's say, for example, you're looking at this and you see a buying opportunity if it breaks over this price, and the moment it cracks over, you take that buy. Maybe that's your strategy. But you need to try these things. You need to approach them. You can't try to get it perfect in the beginning because you're ruining what creates great traders, which is the process. Okay? Aha moments, moments of brilliance, when that light bulb goes off, that only happens because you were fucking it up for so long that eventually something just made sense and clicked. You can't have one without the other, right? Those genius ideas and those new inventions that somebody created out of a freaking moment of brilliance, that only happened because there was something fucked up in the first place, okay? So allow yourself to have those moments of brilliance. They're the best teachers. Anyone will tell you, right? I sucked at trading at some point and all of a sudden things just started to make more sense. That happens because the person is in the process. Embrace that, okay? Now, I hope these videos help you. There will be more from me. I don't know when. I think, if I posted this, if I post again a week from now, I think it's too early because there's a lot for you to go through. I will ask for feedback in the group, and whatever happens there, that's how I'll adjust as far as my timeline going forward. And that's it for me. Happy trading.